All right, well, welcome back, everybody. Today is a day I've been waiting for several weeks now. I just got a call from a semi-delivery driver. He's about 12 minutes away. So he's about to show up with a flatbed with all the material to build our new pole barn. So I'm gonna jump in the John Deere here, start offloading some of this stuff. I'll probably have most of this video in fast forward, maybe a little bit showing me lifting off, but I'm not gonna go shove a camera in the guy's face or anything like that. So just kind of respecting him there. So we'll get it all offloaded. Like I said, I'll have that sped up, and then we'll slow it back down, talk about it, look over everything, and I'll explain again the size and exactly what I'm doing. Thanks for watching. That was interesting. Tell you what, my tractor met its match today. My goodness. These 8x8 beams are just massive. You just don't realize how big they are until you get them in front of you. But I know it's a bit jumbled out here. I did the best I could do. I may try to get all this stacked up a little tighter tomorrow. My contractor's probably gonna hate this. Hopefully the wood doesn't warp on me too bad for the couple of days that it has to sit here. But I don't think I have nothing laying to where it's gonna twist the other one. I tell you what, about I think 4 of those on the loader at one time, that was enough. That's all that tractor wanted. But by far the heaviest thing that I lifted, I don't think I could have lifted another 5 pounds, is all this tin right here. And I'm curious, I think I'm gonna get online and add up how much each sheet weighs. You can see there's a pile of them, and get a good idea how much our tractor lifted right there. That was all I could do to get that lifted just high enough to get it off that flatbed. So I'm curious how much that weighs. I'm gonna add it up. So here it is, a pile, and I mean a pile of 20-foot 8x8s. A big jumbled mess of 2x6s. That's what I'm hoping doesn't twist up on me bad. We just had to keep busting it up little by little. That's just obviously way more than any tractor in my size range could ever lift. So you know how it is, you go across bumpy ground or something, this stuff just starts piling up. So I had to just put it in a pile. So I'll work on that a little. Here's my trusses. This is what I spend a little bit of time engineering. And I'll tell you what, my last pole barn had a square tube truss because I thought that was what you're supposed to do. That's all the rage, right? That's the good stuff. Well, when that building blew down and I looked at how thin that metal was on those square tube trusses, I mean, it was like sheet metal thin. Man, I don't know. So I called this company, spoke with the engineer. We worked, I was trying to get a real high wind load here. And he said, hey, we only do angle iron trusses. And immediately I was like, no, I want square tube. He said, let me tell you something. We don't do square tube because we cannot spray and get every nook and cranny, every weld. And he said, we've noticed in the past square tube trusses where we've seen them fails on the inside where they rust through. And I might would have called BS on that, but however, I've got a few trusses out there that snapped, and where the welds were, where reinforcement parts are, you could see where it was rusting internally in my old square tube trusses. So I believe the guy. So we went with angle iron. They're reinforced real heavy. I mean, this is a 1/4 inch, 3/16, probably 3/16 it looks like, yeah. So really heavy duty angle. They had to beef me up to 2-inch angle. This is well above the standard agricultural barn. And then the way they do the reinforcement, but long story short, this is rated to 155 miles an hour wind load, and that's a gust, and it's like 125, 130 sustained. So this should get me through a lot of hurricanes, and I feel a whole lot better about this barn, especially with these big 8x8s, than I do my last one. We also had to do these 10-foot on center, so it's going to be a tight squeeze in each of my bays. So I'm tighter on center, and I went from a 6x6 in my last barn to 8x8, again 20 foot. We're going to sink them deep in the ground. I've got to bring a concrete truck out here, and we're going to stake them in with rebar. I've got all the rebar over there, really lock them into the concrete, and I've got a whole set of engineered plans this time too that I have to hold my contractor to. So I just feel a whole lot better about this. All right, so I've talked about it once before, but here's where the building's going to go. It is in 2 parts right here. It's a 30x80 main building, and then a 12x80 lean-to off to the side. So the reason I did that was my thinking, and I talked with the contractor, and he said, you're correct. By having a lean-to off the side, it adds another set of ridges, or ridge beams over there, trusses, locking it in. Plus it puts 50% more post in the ground. Instead of having a big full span building that only has posts on each side, now I've got posts on the main building, then another set of posts on the lean-to. So he said that without a doubt he has seen more barns with lean-to survive windstorms around here than without. Now I know a lot of people argue the fact that a lean-to kind of makes an airplane wing, and I get that, but I'm gonna go with this contractor. He builds barns for a living, and you know, it's more work on him to have to do that, so hopefully he's correct. So like I said, it's gonna be, this is a 30 wide building, so I'm gonna do a 30 by 80 this direction. And then on the other side over there is where my 12 by 80 lean-to is gonna be. And where all my tractor equipment is over there, where the old barn used to be, I'm gonna clear all that out, put it in this building, and then plant that in grass. That should be here any day. I've then ordered the seed. I'm gonna take the plumbing and electrical out, everything over there, so it's gonna look like nothing but yard. That way, when we're in the house over here on the other side of the building, or out here entertaining the building, looking back this direction, you've got a clear, unobstructed view of the pasture. And we're hoping to see horses and cows and goats and whatever it is that we put out there. You know, we want to enjoy that view. So now we're not going to have this kind of junky looking mess in the way over here. So really looking forward to that. The reason I went so much larger, coming all the way out here to a 80-foot building, is you can see this kind of weird patch in the ground. This is where the old fence used to be. And it runs right there to that big post. I'm going to put the fence back right here, because it goes underneath that oak in a good direction. It goes down and ties into some more fence down there. And I squared all my buildings up when I originally bought this property off this old fence. We started with the pole barn, squared up to the fence, squared this building off of that, etc. So that's why it kind of looks the way it does, especially when you see me flying the drone around here. You know, you kind of wonder why I didn't do north and south like this tree line. It's because I squared up everything off this fence, and I had every intention of putting it right back. It was just so dilapidated. I tore it down, and here we are. So again, back to the building. So 42 by 60 of it's gonna stop right here where the fence is. There's gonna be another 20 by 42 out here in the field. My plan is to actually run the fence into the building, tied into a couple 8x8s, and this last 20 by 42 out here, this is gonna be a couple horse stalls and a tack room on that other end. So I'm gonna come back and kind of dig this dirt out later, level everything off here, and put a slab out here. And you know, then we'll put some stall mats in, things like that. I'll be asking a lot of questions for that down the road. And then I'm gonna build probably like a, I don't know, 10 by 10 or 10 by 15 tack room on the other end. So that's why we decided to go ahead and do the building a lot bigger, kind of kill two birds with one stone. So we'll have a couple stalls out here, tack room, like I said, fence right there. Everything that direction that you're looking at out there is going to be for trailers, little boat, tractor equipment, things like that, so I can free my shop back up. So really looking forward to this. All right, so the yard looks like a mess right now. It's rutted up from the tractor, rutted up from the semi. Got all this behind me, but I know that's short-lived. The contractor's supposed to be here first of next week. I've got to get up with him one more time. But by the time y'all watch this, it may already be next week. So I don't think I'm gonna do much recording. I have to work. They're gonna be out here building while I'm either sleeping or working. And you know, I would have to go through and ask the entire crew, hey, do you mind being on camera, all that good stuff. So what I'll probably do is just come out maybe right in the middle of it, then at the end of it kind of do, hey, here it is, here's an update, here's where we're at, that type of video. If I was building it myself, obviously I would record the whole process, but it's just not going to work out that way this time. So hopefully the next building video that you see is it either almost done or completely done, and then we'll do a move-in day where I'll move all the tractor equipment. Then we'll start working on that spot over here, get it smoothed up, use the tractor for that, plant some grass, and then I've got to run plumbing out to this building. 6-gauge wire, I think is what I've decided I'm going to do for the 50 amp RV receptacle, because we're going to put it underneath it most likely. It may not fit as tall as the RV is. I didn't want to build this building for an RV. We don't plan on having one forever. So we just have to kind of get it up and see how everything looks. So a lot of different little projects coming up. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. I know it was kind of sped up just with music, but sometimes that's the way it goes. I was losing daylight, needed to get these guys unloaded so they could get back out to West Florida. So that was the best way to do it today. Thanks for watching.